Hi guys, Krista here with Cincy Photo Pro, and today we are at a model home going to do the iGuide 3D virtual tour with the Planix system. So follow along for this training. As a reminder, with all of our real estate properties, we want to make sure that we are coming in with either shoe coverings on our feet or taking our shoes off and walking around in clean socks. We don't want to track dirt or footprints across the property on their floors. So the next step is to go around the property and make sure that we are turning on lights all across the room or the house and turning off fans. We want to make sure that any window coverings, so curtains or blinds, are open consistently throughout the house, and moving anything out of the way like toilet brushes or boxes, things like that, out of view. Remember, this is a 360 image and we will be able to see everything. So we can hide things into closets or in the garage, things like that, or move it from room to room if we have to. We will be scanning every room, so every closet, every garage, patio, balcony. So if these areas are very cluttered and the homeowner is home, just assure them that we are taking it for the floor plan. We will hide that in the final scan. Next, you want to get your phone or tablet, whichever device you want to use, to capture the 3D scans. You need that connected to the internet just to download the app. So you are going to look for the iGuide Planix app, the blue one right here, and connect and install that. All right, once that is installed, you're going to open it, accept all the terms. Then the next step is to turn on the camera so that you can connect your device. So it's going to come in a case like this. You open it up, and right here is the power button. So you're just going to hold that in for 3 seconds so all these lights come on, and it will start booting up. In the meantime, you can open up your tripod so that we can install that. I usually, on my tripod, have it set where I just do full expansion on the bottom 2 sections of the tripod so we can keep it even. Open it up all the way, and then we're going to connect this to the tripod. So when you're looking at it, this is going to be the back of the camera, and this side is the front. To make sure that is secure and try to level it. This is the cap. You will need to take that off. Put it in the case. Then usually what I'll do is put the case, just hide it in an area that we aren't going to need it. But next we are going to go back to your Wi-Fi. And once this is booted up, so it will say Planix 8323C4. That's the Wi-Fi that you need. So you don't actually have to have internet on this device once the app is on your device. So the Wi-Fi you'll be connecting to will be the camera itself. So go ahead and connect to that. And because I've logged in with this before, it's not making me do the password. But the password is on the side of the camera. So we got Cincy Photo Pro 1, capital C. So then you go to the app and hit next, start uploading. You want a new camera while using this app. Manual connection. Connect to the Planix. Okay, now it's making me do the password. So Cincy Photo Pro 1 connect. All right, so once it's connected, it's going to show up here. You click that. So you only have to do those steps the first time you sign in with that device. After that, it's going to connect pretty easily. So now you just go to the three dots is the menu bar. Go to project. Then you're going to name it the project name. So right here, we'll just do Arthur Homes. So this is a model, so normally it'll be the address, but if we're doing like an Airbnb or a model home, sometimes they'll want us to label it the model home name. Then you will have to look at the wall thickness. In most newer homes, it's about 6 to 8 inches on the exterior wall thickness. On older homes, it's probably, a lot of times it's 8 to 12. So take a look at it. You can measure it or just kind of take your best guess. As long as it's pretty close, then we're okay. That helps with the accurate measurements with the scans. So you're going to create that. Then it's going to come to a floor. So the only time you're going to have to change this is when you go to different levels. So this one has a main floor and a basement. So I'll name it main floor or basement. If there is an upstairs, I typically do main floor, second floor, basement. If there's a third floor, I might do first floor, second floor, third floor, and then a basement. Kind of however you want to label that, where it makes sense. So I'm going to just label this main floor, exterior wall thickness 8 inches. All right, and then we're going to here. So from that point, basically we have to keep an eye on it'll be the placement of the camera. So we have to have the camera, each scan has to be invisible line sight of the previous scan. So we start off at the front door. It is raining today, so we'll start off right outside the front door and kind of work our way through. If it's not raining or not very windy, I'll also going to scan out in the yard where you can see the full house. But we're not going to do that today. So we're going to go to the front door and I'll see you there. We are outside now, so I will have the front door open. We have the Planix system right here. So we want to make sure that the front of the camera is facing the direction that we want the image to start at. So I don't want it facing out to the street. I want it facing the door. So we're going to have the front of the camera facing the door. Then remember, this is a 360 image. So we have to make sure that we're out of line of sight when we take the photo. So because we are close to the door, we are going to keep the door open. So we'll keep the door open when we're right outside this one, right inside, then the next scan will close the door. So just the scans closest to the doors are the ones that we like to have open typically. Okay guys, I came in the kitchen so that I could be out of line sight of that front scan. So we have went out of the way. So we have this screen here, and basically we are just hitting the shutter and letting it do its thing. We have to make sure that the camera can't see us and that the camera can't be seen reflections on mirrors and windows. When we're inside, we're going to make sure that we try to avoid shadows if possible as well. That just all helps in the process of the back end. But once it's up, you can scan, make sure that you didn't avoid anything or that you avoided reflections in the windows and things like that. I did park in the driveway this time. I typically don't. It was just raining really bad. I had a lot of equipment to bring in, and I knew I'm only doing the one scan outside, so I can edit that out really quick. But typically we want to park on the street so that we can avoid our cars being in the driveway. So when I do the second scan, I am making sure that the camera is not in the reflection of those windows here or the mirrors over here. And then again, I'm going to step out of the way, make sure I'm not in the photo either. Okay, after that first scan inside, I'm going to close that front door, and then I am moving to the left. I'm making a chronological kind of order. I'm going to go around the left of the house and kind of work my way around, and then go to the basement. but we're doing that so I don't miss the garage over there. I know the garage is full of stuff, but I'm still going to scan it for the floor plan. Okay, as you're going through the house, you need to make sure that you are placing the camera where it makes sense to kind of go to the next spot if somebody's clicking or naturally walking through the house so that they can click through. So we need to make sure the camera is in kind of hallways and direct line of doorways, things like that. So after the one by the garage and the front door, we're doing one right kind of here in the middle, so it's in line sight of that doorway, but also in line sight of the kitchen, so that there will be scans in both directions from that point. We will go all the way around the, like probably by the fireplace, by the doors, going to the deck, on both sets of doors. We'll probably open them. It'll help avoid the reflection when we get close to it. And then we're going to come around and we'll do one by the wine cellar here. And we'll go through here into the bathroom, all of that. So I will be making sure that I share links to this tour as well as some other style homes, smaller homes in particular, or condos, things like that, so that you can have a better idea of placement for the style home that you will be shooting. Thanks. Okay, in this room, with the lights and stuff, it's really hard to avoid the shadow, but I do try. Sometimes if you can just move it a little bit, it can avoid that shadow. So that, because we will be editing that out. So if it's possible, kind of move the camera, you know, where you can have the least amount of shadow. So that's an instance where, yeah, you want to try, but it's not always gonna be the case. But if the shadow has to be there, having it on a blank wall versus up by the light fixture, things like that, or on a picture frame, then that is best. But I did struggle here too in this small bathroom. I was having a hard time. So it's either getting a shadow on one of the walls or on that picture. So having the shadow on the wall is gonna be the better option if possible, but you also had to watch the reflection in the mirror. So it's not always avoidable to avoid the shadows or reflections, but kind of move the camera a few inches or any direction and kind of see if you can reduce that at all. And be cognitive that a solid surface is going to be easier for us to edit than if there is a shadow on a textured or photo type of service. So just kind of keep that in mind. And then also just taking note. So you say, hey, in the bathroom, and in the small bathroom and in the office, I had a really hard time with the shadows. You just pay attention to those when you're editing. So making notes of that when you can't avoid it helps us to not overlook it when we're editing as well. So just keep that in mind to make notes. Thanks. I did want to give you an exception to the comment I said about the closet doors, where one always closed or typically closed, except for right before the scan. Now in a model home, when they don't have a lot of clutter and it's staged well, I'm in the kitchen area and there's these pocket doors kind of going into the pantry there and going into the laundry room here. And it looks real nice with the flow. So I kept those open, and actually when I did a scan right by the door, instead of like, I just pulled the pocket door out just a little bit to indicate that that door is there, but still show the flow of the space. Now, if there was a lot of clutter in the pantry in particular, things like that, then that would be a time maybe I would close that pantry door except for right before going into it. So I just kind of wanted to share that with you. Since this house is so large, it's a 6,000 square foot home, I just now finished the main floor. So it's kind of looking crazy, but it shows me where all my scans were. So I am ready to do the basement, and I wanted to show you how to do that. So you're going to go back to the menu here and click floor. I'm gonna label that basement, and we're gonna say it's 8 inches and create. Like I said, kind of take a look at it at the wall and kind of use your best judgment on if it's 6, 8, or 12. That's typically about the standard sizes in the USA. So that's what we'll do, and now we're ready for the next floor. As I was going to the basement, I thought I would note that there is a landing going all the way down. Instead of having it on a separate floor, I just include that landing shot with the basement on this particular home. So we do want to include it. We don't have to be on the steps itself, but if there's a landing, I like to get a scan there as well. And as a reminder, there are going to be areas in most homes that we will need to scan that will not be shown in the final tour. Here is an example. This storage room, unfinished, in a model home. Hi guys, I hope this was helpful, and just remember before you leave that you turn off all the lights and lock the doors. Thanks.